You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
In the Crease is back. The show about anything that crosses my path returns Sunday, October 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Where are we going this time, Dad?
Great question, EP. Season 3 is back with the 4th annual Nobel Prize show. Physics, chemistry, medicine, literature, economic sciences, and of course we will find out if the midget from Ukraine somehow manages to win the Nobel Peace Prize. All of this and more on episode 43 of In the Crease, October 15th, here on KLRNradio.com.
Today, this breakfast isn't just breakfast. It might be the first McDonald's breakfast you're having at McDonald's again. This lunch might be a weekly tradition you hadn't had in weeks. And this dinner might be the first one you bought for not just you in a while. Whatever this order is for you, McDonald's will be here to take it.
Get more of the chicken you love with a delicious McChicken sandwich for $1. And for an extra $1, add a refreshing Dr. Pepper. Dining rooms are starting to reopen in certain communities at participating McDonald's. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
In uncertain times, we could use someone to lean on. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma will stand by you with plan options to fit your budget. If you've recently lost your job, had a baby, or moved, you can still get the healthcare coverage you and your family need. Financial help may be available for those who qualify. Call 855-452-BLUE or visit hereforyouok.com to see if you're eligible to enroll. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Oklahoma, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
The following program will contain coarse language, adult themes, and us telling everyone that our administration is a bunch of fucking dumbasses. Listener discretion is advised. That better fucking go away part, that's kind of my message to Hamas right now. I'm just saying. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Whatever program. It is Thursday night here on KLRN Radio. I'm Rick Robinson. She's Stacy Lennox, and we're both pissed, so this could be fun.
Can I set a ground rule right now?
Wait, we have rules here? Go ahead.
No, a ground rule.
Sure, go ahead.
So people know what to expect.
Oh, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Oh, I can?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, if you go into another country and kill women and children, and the people from that country come in to kill you back, and you put children in front of you, when those children die, it's Hamas's fault.
Can you say that one more time for the people in the back?
Okay. So when you parasail into another country and murder people at a conference and rape women and then film them with blood all over their pants being walked back into Gaza, and other people come over to kill you back and you put your own children in front of you, the children that die in the retribution are Hamas's fault.
I'm going to go a step further. When you put a terrorist group in charge of your country's government, everything that happens after that is your fucking fault.
Yeah. When 77% of said colony that hasn't been occupied since 2005 supports said terrorist org that runs your country, blow the whole thing fucking up.
Dude, I heard it today in one of the protests. I was flipping through channels. Lately, I've been kind of rotating between usually like Newsmax, and then I'll spend some time on CNN. Then usually towards later in the day, I'll spend at least a little bit on Fox News because I kind of like the folks that come in later because I've worked with some of them off and on. But that being said, I was watching a bit today, and of course today was another one of the days where all the college campuses were protesting, etc. And I watched this person who was about probably early 20s, standing on a step, talking about free Palestine, and someone who I'm assuming, because they were off camera, was probably Israeli, basically had said something, and some of it was unintelligible, basically something about my family stuck over there because of your friends. She looked him square in the eye and said, well, he said, your friend's Hamas. She says, I'm from that area. We're all Hamas. Dead in the face.
Oh, that was Syria.
Well, actually, I thought she said Syria at the time, but there was a clip later where it was the same person, and she was saying that she's Palestinian and that all Palestinian are Hamas. So I don't know if she's actually from Syria or if I misunderstood what she said. All I know for sure is I heard her on two different occasions say basically the same thing, that they are Hamas. So thank you, Joe Biden, for our open borders, because most of the people that you were screaming were refugees are probably terrorists. Thank you, sir.
No, there's at least 152 special interest aliens. No. There were thousands of special interest aliens. There's 152 that we know of on terror watch lists that have entered the country. And those are only the ones that get caught. So here's something I need everyone to understand, okay? If you look at the timeline that has been uncovered by the Wall Street Journal and Israel Times and other folks, okay? In order for Hamas to have built the tunnel structure where they are currently sheltering while Palestinian civilians who support them at a rate of 77% are out on the streets, even though Israel has told them, go towards the Egyptian border, and Hamas says, no, just stay where you are because they don't give a shit about these people. Hamas has taken every bit of aid they've been given and materiel they have been given to either repurpose it for bombs or to build tunnels that they can now hide in. Okay, their leaders are hiding out in hotels in Qatar where they are spending millions of dollars on their spa treatments and other things. Okay, we have funded Hamas to some extent because President Trump shut off all funding to Palestine. Joe Biden turned it back on. he also made dollars available to Iran, not just the $6 billion. We are now uncovering other funding that regime could also get that goes straight to Hezbollah and Hamas. Okay?
Yay for President Puddinhead.
This particular attack with the tunnel structures they have and what has been discovered about how they emerged, etc., every bit of concrete and rebar and structural stuff the Saudis and the UAE have given the Palestinians to build hospitals and water supply and infrastructure has gone directly to building these fucking tunnels. Okay? So the infrastructure to complete this attack has been under construction for years. The strategy to complete this attack has been under construction for months. So if you think that this invasion over our southern border has not included some elements of this particular strategy, you're insane, number one.
Yeah, we'll probably
if you
find out
don't
for
think
sure
there
tomorrow.
are dozens of sleeper cells in this country right now, you're too stupid to live. And if you don't understand, they're mostly going to be in liberal blue cities. I really can't help you. If you don't think there will be blood on the streets in the day of Infida tomorrow in New York City, I can't help you.
Two quick hits on what you've brought up so far. So there's more of a timeline emerging based on conversations that folks have had now that they've seen this attack come to fruition. The funny thing is, this attack had been being planned for just about a year. Anybody want to tell me what happened?
This attack, but the infrastructure has been for a decade.
Well, yeah, no, but I was going somewhere. So does anybody want to tell me what happened just a little over a year ago?
Joe Biden was elected.
What happened shortly after that?
The border opened.
And then we did what in Afghanistan roughly 13 months ago? About
left all of our equipment there for the terrorists to look at and take. And yeah. Like,
is anybody
legitimately, so there's an account I follow on Twitter that used to be political and has gone completely apolitical since 2016, and it's Mo Lane. Okay? He said, I've been out of this for a while. I'm just going to tell you this. If one American in the Middle East is killed by technology that Joe Biden left in Afghanistan, the Democrats will be wiped out for 2 decades. I can only hope that is true.
Yeah, but well, I know.
We left Americans behind in Afghanistan that are still there.
Oh, I know. And they were trying to do the same thing until Ron DeSantis basically stepped up and signed an executive order in Florida and started sending charter planes. Now, all of a sudden, the White House is like, oh, we can do that too. Really?
Oh, he started sending charter planes?
Uh-huh.
I love him.
Yeah,
I'm
surprised you hadn't seen it yet, because I actually tweeted about it earlier. I was like, not only is this a badass boss move, this is something that I would have expected from Trump 2015.
Been a badass since this whole thing started.
But yeah, no.
So I did not know about the charter planes, but no, Austria is sending planes. Like a whole bunch of European countries are sending planes. Do you know the only people that did not send planes, and then when they thought about sending planes, said they were going to charge their citizens for the plane ride?
Us.
Yeah. You know who else is sending planes?
Who else?
The Nazarene Fund, Glenn Beck, the person who evacuated more Christians from Afghanistan than any other organization.
Well, it's kind of, I mean, we are living in a time where it's going to take more.
You know who else is going to try to figure out if we can get the American hostages out? The Nazarene Fund.
Not surprising. We keep having to have private citizens step in and do the government job.
Not our Green Berets, not our Navy SEALs. No. It's private actors going in and liberating Americans who have likely been tortured and raped by these. I can't even call them animals. Do you know why I can't even call them animals?
Because even animals show compassion.
Animals value the life of their species more than Hamas does. Because a mama bear will take on the cubs of a mama bear who dies and treat them as her own. Mama bear will kill you if you come near her cubs. A mama hog will stand her ground if her babies are behind her. You know what Mama Hamas members do? Hand out candy when their sons die. They're dumber than bears. They're dumber than hogs. Yeah, that's what I said. Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, you're dumber than a fucking hog.
Dude, I can't even with these people. I don't get it. And I said this last night. Because whether you support Donald Trump now or not, if you voted for him in either 2016, 2020, or both, you are on a terror watch list. Whether you realize it or not.
What?
Yeah, the FBI has already admitted it. They soft pedal admitted it so they could kind of, make it seem like it wasn't as bad as it was. But if you've ever supported Donald Trump, you're considered a domestic terrorist. However, elected Democrats can come out with pro-Hamas statements and everything else. Universities can come out with pro-Hamas statements. Joe Biden doesn't say a fucking word.
Okay. Here's the thing. I will not deal with the useful idiots. AOC, useful idiot. Bitch, you're an infidel. They'd cut off your head. And they're going to cut off yours before they cut off mine. That's absolutely true. They kill the useful idiots before they kill their enemies. All right? Your ruby lipstick head is going to be cut off before mine. And your friend Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib would probably do it. You're an atheist.
And laugh
Bye.
while they did it.
Laugh about it because you were so fucking stupid.
Look, I don't know any other way to say this, and I know when I put on my preacher hat it pisses people off, but as somebody that has studied Islam in depth, they are the only religion that I have ever studied, besides Satanism, that is allowed to lie to you.
Takaya. No, the Chinese can too. That's a Persian thing. Once you get to Iran and you go east, it's an Asian thing. Like, yeah, it's Takaya in the Muslim world, and it's nationalism in other places. The Chinese don't need to tell you the truth. The Japanese don't need to tell you the truth. Like, Asian countries in general don't need to tell you the truth. If they're a nationalistic country, they don't need to tell you the truth. If you look at ancient Persia and go east, that's where that starts.
Yeah, I have to admit I haven't really dug too much into the Chinese religion.
Yeah, no. All I'm saying is if you dig into Persia, if you look at what Persia was in the ancient world, okay?
Mm-hmm.
To this day, to include Russia, to include China, they're still very nationalistic. All of these countries are. And, you know who actually got us into all this shit?
Who is that?
And I refuse to defend him anymore, is George W. Bush.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay? What no one seems to understand, and I'm going to link the article, and I need you all to read it. They are playing, and you need to explain this to your friends and your children and like everyone you know. They are playing on your Western values. We value what? We value life. We value prosperity. We value life. They don't. They value martyrdom in the name of Allah. That is why Hamas will put children and women in front of them and then claim that they've been massacred. Okay? That's why they will put their headquarters at the bottom of a hospital. They value martyrdom, and they view all of the people that die if a bomb hits that building as martyrs. You view them as casualties, and then you're sympathetic to the Palestinian cause. That's not how any of this works. Okay? You can only care about those people that Israel is warning to get the fuck out as much as they do.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I mean, I said this earlier today. There are now 27 dead Americans because of a bunch of terrorists. The fact that we haven't just gone in and turned the whole place to glass yet pisses me off.
On September 11th, 2001, 3,000 roughly Americans died in a jihadist attack on our country, correct?
Yes.
We leveled Afghanistan and stayed there for 20 years. And we are telling Israel to show restraint. Do the proportional. We know that 1,400 Israelis have died in a population of roughly 9 million. 3,000 died in a population of roughly 310 million.
That would be the equivalent of about 60,000 Americans being killed, by the way.
60 to 70,000 Americans can. If 60 to 70,000 Americans should die tomorrow on the day of Infadah, what do you think is going to happen to Hamas? What do you think is going to happen to Iran?
Joe Biden's going to invite him for ice cream?
Okay. If a legitimate president was in the White House, one like maybe President Trump or Ron Desantis, what do you think would happen to Hamas? What do you think would happen to Iran?
It would be glass by Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and I don't know that honestly under Joe Biden it would be you can't have 35,000 Americans die. You can't. Not under your watch. Not if you intend to win the next election. Right?
No, I agree, but then again, I don't even think they expect him to win the next election. They're trying to prop up somebody else.
Well, it's going to be Gavin Newsom, but we can get into that later.
I don't know. We may not even have an election at this point.
Maybe that's the goal.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, hell, we already watched basically the entire world order roll out a virus to derail 2020. They didn't give a fuck what happened to the entire population, as long as they got somebody back in charge that they could control.
All right, I'm dropping this in chat. A little eschatology for y'all. If you want to understand prophecy and all that shit from their perspective, here you go. I don't think this is all WEF and UN planned. If it was all WEF and UN planned, certainly not UN. I mean, they've come right out and like, we love Palestine. Like, no. Like at this point, the best thing you could do with the UN is turn those buildings into a parking garage and evict them. They're just a bullshit organization. And I'm tired of my taxpayer dollars going to it. The World Economic Forum is actually on the other side because Russia is backing these. So let me explain this whole thing. From an eschatology and international politics perspective, So if you look at all of this, right, Turkey should not be in NATO. It should be in BRICS. You're looking at something that you have not seen since many of us were teenagers, and it's called a bipolar world. We've been in a unipolar world for a very long time. And because we were so focused on the Middle East and trying to do nation building there with people who wanted nothing to do with our values, instead of looking to our South and building up Central America and South America, making them prosperous and having a strong hemisphere, we missed the boat. Russia, China, and the Middle East, mostly Iran and its satellites, right, along with certain countries in Africa who have gone communist, are aligning because they fall under a nationalistic point of view that the West has largely lost. So the right in America and the right in the UK are one of the few groups in the West that still see the nation state as a viable unit, right? So the left wants us to join these international groups and be governed by these super international bodies. And we're like, no, we're still the United States of America. And we should be governed as such. The UK, they did Brexit because of that. And now that they've seen what the globalists are doing, even more people support Brexit. Like they originally thought they didn't, and now they do. So when you're looking at this, you have to understand I'm a traditional values person. I believe in the nuclear family. I believe in religion. I believe in God. I believe in traditional American values, free speech, Second Amendment, da 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 da. And a lot of people on the right will be asked, do you believe in traditional values? And they do. Small t. Large T is something different, and it comes out of Russia, and it's playing on your sympathies. So don't fall for it. It's big T traditionalism. And big T traditionalism coming out of Russia and China, which is we're going to be imperialistic. So Russia is going to go and get Ukraine, and China is going to go to Taiwan, and Iran is going to go get the Middle East, right? So that big T traditionalist is an imperialistic movement that looks a lot like things that happened in the Dark Ages before the Enlightenment. So they're looking for pre-Enlightenment philosophy, where people on the right here are looking for post-Enlightenment philosophy that includes things like free speech, Second Amendment, self-determination, etc. And the American left is looking at something like neo-feudalism. And you can see that in California. California is made up of the very rich and the very poor. And the very rich think they know what's good for the very poor, while the very poor are being murdered in their ghettos. Okay? So, and the same in Oregon, the coastal parts of Oregon and Washington. So the legitimate right in America is actually fighting the big T traditionalists as well as the neo-feudalists. And it's a very exhausting thing because you have to keep track of both of them. And sometimes the two of them come together and they don't even realize it in people like AOC and Rashida Tlaib. And the reason Gretchen Whitmer can't condemn any of this is because she has a little Tehran in her backyard. She doesn't want to be like assassinated.
Oh, why not?
I hate Gretchen Whitmer, but I mean, like, her reason for doing it is self-preservation. It's not because she actually thinks Jewish babies should be murdered, I'm sure.
So apparently shit's kicking off early.
What happened?
I'm trying to see if I can figure out exactly what's going on. There's a video from New York. It looks like a bunch of people set a car on the highway on fire from about 2 hours ago. Yeah, it's kind of what it looks like. Hang on, I don't know how well this is going to translate for radio, but since I'm watching it, we might as well see if anybody can hear it.
Where is this from?
I guess I was somewhat wrong. Apparently there's some moron about 2 hours ago doing donuts in New York. This is, according to the signs, well, the caption's in the way, but it's somewhere not too far from Long Island on the highway. It's under the Day of Jihad tag, so I'm guessing they think it has something to do with that. It says, happening now in New York after Hamas leader calls for Day of Jihad on Friday the 13th and tells Muslims to take to the streets in protest against Israel. Arm yourselves.
Oh my God, it's
anything.
Friday the 13th.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if anybody's ever actually looked into the history of why it's called Friday the 13th, it's kind of important.
All right, could you do that? I'm sure I knew it at one point. Please go on.
I'll have to look it up again. I remember that it was scary as fuck, though, the first time I looked into it. Hang on.
Knights Templar.
Yeah, it was the massacre of yeah. So anyway, long considered a harbinger of bad luck, Friday the 13th has inspired a late 19th century secret society and early 20th century. Hang on. It doesn't actually go into it as much. That's not the one I was looking for. I clicked on the wrong link. Hang on. Yeah, so it is tied to the Knights Templar, and I'm trying to get the link to pull up, and it's not wanting to. What the hell? Why?
I'm on Brave, so it might do it. Friday the 13th is considered an unlucky day and lucky by others. The exact origin of the day's notoriety is hard to determine, but it could stem from Christianity, where Judas Iscariot, the disciple who betrayed Jesus Christ, was the 13th guest at the Last Supper. Maybe not. The day has since been associated with general ill omen. The first documented mention of the day can be found in a biography of Italian composer Gioacchino Rossini, who died on Friday the 13th. A 1907 book, Friday the 13th, by American businessman Thomas Lawson, may have further perpetuated the superstition. I'm going to look at the History Channel.
Yeah, so here's some of the history of things that have happened on Friday the 13th. On Friday, October 13th, 1307, officers of King Philip IV of France arrested hundreds of Knights Templar. They were imprisoned on charges of various illegal behaviors. In more recent times, a number of traumatic events have occurred on Friday the 13th, including the German bombing of Buckingham Palace, September 13th, 1940, the murder of Kitty Genovese in Queens, New York, March 13th, 1964. A cyclone that killed more than 300,000 people in Bangladesh, November 13th, 1970. The disappearance of a Chilean Air Force plane in the Andes, October 13th, 1972. The death of rapper Tupac Shakur, September 13th, 1996.
No.
So yeah, it's just,
On Friday, October 13th, 1307, officers of King Philip IV of France arrested hundreds of the Knights of Templar, a powerful religious and military order formed in the 12th century for the defense of the Holy Land, which is what?
Which is Israel.
Which is what?
Which is Israel.
Thank you. Imprisoned on charges of various illegal behaviors, like January 6 people. But really because the king wanted access to their financial resources, many Templars were later executed. Some cite the link between the Templars as the original origin of the Friday the 13th superstition, but like many legends involving the Templars and their history, the truth remains murky. Does it?
Does it really? Not so much.
Does it really? In more recent times, a number of traumatic events have occurred on Friday the 13th, including the German bombing of Buckingham Palace. A bunch of anti-Semites bombed Buckingham Palace. the murder of Kinney Genovese in Queens, New York, a cyclone that killed more than 300,000 people in Bangladesh, the disappearance of Chilean Air Force plane in the Andes, the death of rapper Tupac Shakur, which I could give a shit less about, and the crash of Costa Concordia cruise ship off the coast of Italy, which killed 30 people. The Knights of Templar, a powerful religious and military order formed in the 12th century for the defense of what? The Holy Land.
Israel.
And tomorrow is what?
Friday the 13th. Yay.
And you want me to believe this was not all what?
Yeah, I don't believe in coincidence either.
Planned?
Yeah, no, trust me, it was planned.
The day of jihad in Europe and America and across the globe was not planned after an attack on the Holy Land. Are you kidding me?
Fun times, right?
If you work in a soft target, be careful. That means a school, a hospital, a government building. Okay? If you work anywhere where arms cannot be carried, be careful. What Hamas did to Israel is what Antifa and BLM want to do to the suburbs. If you are not in a city, you are not safe.
All I'm going to say is I'm not going to tell you to stay home. I'm not going to tell you to hide in your house. I am going to tell you that if you live in an open carry, concealed carry state and you can do so with lots of extra ammo.
I am going to tell you, if you do not have a plan of where you and your family are going to meet should something hellish emerge, make one tonight and communicate it. No matter where you live.
I live in the middle of nowhere. We're pretty safe.
No, but if you're in a city or a burb or an exurb, right? I mean, we legit, in the exurb I'm in, we had assholes from Atlanta marching up here to exit 16 until they saw the cops, right? Like, we're not doing this here. Okay?
The cops.
So,
were the cops singing "Try This" in a small town? Please tell me they were.
Huh?
Were the cops all singing "Try That" in a small town? Please tell me they were.
Oh, no. This was in the George Floyd riot. They didn't have that song yet.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn. They should all be playing it now, though. And I know for a damn fact, because I have an idiot mayor who is very concerned about building low-income housing. I've got a shit ton of El Salvadorian and Honduran migrants up here, and I know MS-13 is up here collecting. Okay? So, if you think the folks from Central America aren't aligned with the assholes from the Middle East, you're crazy. Because they're both funded by China. China could take over this country without ever firing a fucking bullet because they've been infiltrating it 6 ways from Sunday since we were about 10.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I'm aware. These people have been playing a very long game, and they keep catching us asleep.
If you have an Antifa chapter, if you have a BLM chapter, if you have a university near you that you think is, well, it's fine because it's out near me. No, it's not. They aren't going to constrict it to a deep blue city like New York this time. They're just not.
No, they're not. They're going to try to hit. I mean, they're just going to. I would be honestly surprised if a lot pops off tomorrow, but I will not be surprised if a bunch of shit happens over the weekend.
Neither will I.
But I don't know. I mean, these people are nuts, and I mean, all these college age people protesting. I'm done calling them kids because they're not. They're just emboldening them. I heard somebody talking today about it from that area. You don't understand. Hamas is a freedom fighter movement. It's not a terror group. No, you don't understand.
No. No, you don't understand.
They're number
You don't
two.
understand. And the reason you don't understand is because nobody has ever marched into your fucking town, killed your nieces and nephews, your baby brothers and your baby sisters while your parents watched and then posted it to their fucking Facebook pages. Nobody has ever done that to you. People did that to people in Israel. Okay? You have lived here ensconced in your free speech and your leftist speech, which you can say whatever the fuck you want, but silence is violence and speech is violence. If somebody doesn't agree with you, you're about to find out what a fucking useless idiot you were.
No, but
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Sorry. Sorry.
No, what are you apologizing for? Stop it. So 2 things, and I've talked about this already. If you have not done so, please Google the following phrase. The Hebrew origination of the word Hamas. It will tell you everything you need to know about the group. Another thing that you should do is look up their constitution. Yes, they have a constitution. Their number 2 stated goal is death of Israel. They are not freedom fighters. Their name says it all.
Dude, their leaders are sitting in Qatar spending millions of dollars on massages and whores and everything else, while the citizens they are supposed to take care of have no electricity and no water because their terrorist organization took all that money and raw material and built tunnels that they can hide in. Like, come on.
That's the other thing. Why is Israel being shouted down for cutting off water and electricity to a country that is trying to kill them?
Should France have had to give Germany electricity and water in World War II?
No.
I just want to be clear.
No. But that's my whole thing, and I know you've already answered it, but this is a question that I just want to pose to everybody to try to make this make sense. Israel left in 2005. That was 17, doing the math right, 17, 18 years ago? Somewhere around there?
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling...
FAFO.
FAFO. So you're telling me that in 18 years, they who were screaming that they want to be a free, independent state and have nothing to do with Israel, didn't find a way to produce their own electricity and find a way to produce their own water supplies? In 18
Well, because
years?
they were spending it all, putting it underground.
Well, no, I know we know the answer to the question. That is more for, the occasional stray listener we get that still believes that Hamas is, the Red Cross of the fucking Middle East. Idiot.
Oh, look, here's the Harvard students who are useful idiots doing more idioting.
Dude, it's everywhere. The same thing is happening in fucking Yale. At this point,
Like the Harvard students who are like, oh, I signed a letter, but you still need to hire me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't really read it. Really? Well, maybe you should have. Don't put your name on stupid shit.
So you're telling me that...
Joint statement by Harvard Palestinian Solidarity Groups. Every freaking member of those groups should never be hired by any... CEOs are looking to blacklist these people because they're ridiculous and they're stupid. It's not that they necessarily object to your views. They just object to your stupidity. You put your fucking name on it.
I mean, we didn't make these rules. These are
Gaza is not an open-air prison, you little fucksticks. Gaza is its own independent piece of land governed by the elected government of Hamas, which, according to the most recent polling, 77% of Palestinians who can vote support. So, shut up. You don't know anything. Your college education made you dumber. All right? And the next question you should ask is, where are all the Palestinian Christians? Do you know where all the Palestinian Christians in the Middle East are?
Dead.
They're in Israel.
I figured they were either dead or in Israel.
They're either dead or in Israel. I literally know Christian Palestinians in this country who still campaign for Palestine. I'm like, dude, you'd be dead or you'd be living in Israel. There are no Palestinian Catholics left anymore. None. And here's the other thing you all need to be super freaking aware of, okay? If you're into eschatology and you want to talk about biblical prophecies, okay? So, the Muslims are unifying. So you got Hezbollah here and you got Hamas here and they're starting an Iran saber rattling. You got the Muslims attacking the Jews in Israel. You also have Azerbaijan trying to do another Armenian Christian genocide backed by the same fucking actors that are doing this in Israel. They're trying to eradicate belief in God and certainly belief in Jesus Christ, our only Lord and Savior, from the entire Middle East. There are no Christians and Jews in Egypt. There are none in Saudi Arabia. There are none in Iran. There are none in Iraq. There's 12. And Glenn Beck's Nazarene Fund has been working for the last 10 years to get them out. Okay? Like, you literally have the forces of evil convening on the oldest Holy Land of the Jewish people and the oldest group of Christians, the Armenians, in the world. Go look at your eschatology, friends. Go look at what ISIS really wants.
Well, I mean, they make it clear all the time. I mean, there even before all this started.
No. ISIS wants the apocalyptic battle on the holy ground.
Oh, I know. That's what.
Okay, it's not that they just want to march and do this. They want Armageddon.
No.
They're trying to fulfill the prophecies.
No, I get it. That's actually the whole point of their caliphate. That's actually what that's for.
Exactly. And the 12th Imam, which all the idiots in Iran believe. That there's some dude out there who's like 400 years old and still 12. Okay. That's not how any of this works.
Anyway, so
Anyway, and can I just say,
I
would like to congratulate Donald J. Trump for making it harder for me to vote for him. Should all of the boomers make me vote for him in the general, and I will have a very hard time making other people do the same. I will do it because I'm anyone but Biden. Jesus Christ, you really went out there and slammed Bibi Netanyahu 2 days after a minimum of 1,300 Jewish people were murdered, raped, burned, beheaded, because he might have congratulated Joe Biden earlier than you would have liked him to. Did you really do that, you child?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly the only thing. That's honestly the only thing that he said that I had issue with.
I want a grown-up.
I don't think we have any anymore.
Does Donald J. Trump understand that his daughter and his son-in-law are Jewish and they have Jewish children?
Apparently not.
Does he understand any of this? Like, nobody's going to give a shit that they live in a very fancy house down in Florida. If we're going for an infidel, they're going to be some of the first ones beheaded.
Yeah, so for anybody who's curious about why this is such a big deal, if you've ever watched the movies The Purge, it's kind of where this is headed, in case you're wondering. Anyway, so speaking of anybody but Biden, I saw this today and thought we should probably play it. So we didn't take a break, we might as well. It's a parody I found. It's actually really good, though. Let me get it to load. Hang on. My computer's being stupid, of course. What happened? It was playing. Now it's not. What happened? Oh, it's being dumb because it wants me to log into my TikTok, and I haven't logged in on this machine yet, so... Never mind. Maybe next time. Because, yeah, now it's being really stupid. So, I'll just have to close everything out and start over. Anyway, good news is I didn't crash the broadcast. Anyway, so it was actually, somebody put it out on TikTok, and it was a song called Walk Like Joe Biden to the tune of Walk Like an Egyptian. It's hilarious. If you have TikTok, go find it. Because I'm not signing in on this computer. I'll leave it signed in on my phone, because I have 8 million layers of virus protection on my phone. I'm not putting it anywhere else. Anyway, so I thought it would let me play it without having to do all that crap, but whatever. So never mind. I said corrected. We are not playing a parody today. Damn it. I did put it in a lot of rooms, though, so you can still go listen to it if you're in one of the rooms that we have in common on X, Twitter, Jitter, whatever the hell you want to call it these days. But yeah, honestly, everybody was having a big deal, was kind of flipping out over him saying something about Hamas being smart. I don't really give a shit about that part. Donald Trump likes to stroke egos. I'm pretty sure that's what that was. But when he started, not only did he slam Netanyahu, because apparently he said Netanyahu backed out of the deal to get Soleimani or whatever at the last minute, which according to Israel intelligence sources was not true. I'll let you guys decide whether it was or not. He then went on to say exactly what you said, and also he was the first person to congratulate Joe Biden after I did so much for him, blah, 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 blah. Fuck that guy. That's when no. I mean, look, again, I'm anybody but Biden, so if you idiots that can vote in the primary cannot see that this man is slowly losing his mind, then I guess we're going to get the president we deserve, whoever that might be, because we can't have Biden for 4 more years. We just can't. We won't survive it. The problem is, and this is the thing that I don't get, because in any other cycle, DeSantis doing what he did today would have shot him to the top, no holds barred. Barely anybody's even talking about it. The guy is tired of watching an administration sit on their hands and do nothing when Americans are trapped in Israel and then say, well, if we get you out, you're going to have to pay for it. Signs an executive order declaring Florida under national emergency because of the attack in Israel and starts the process to send chartered planes to go rescue the 20,000 some odd Americans that are stuck in Israel right now. He did that. Within an hour of him doing that, Joe Biden's administration reversed course and started talking about arranging charter flights. That tells you who they're actually afraid of, by the way. Because the other thing that I thought was rather interesting, for days, a lot of people that are a lot bigger than me have been screaming at the Biden White House to refreeze the money in Iran. No plans to do that. No plans to do that. Don't have any way to connect the dots. Can't do it. Won't do it. DeSantis puts out a tweet.
Here's what I want to know. Where on Hunter's laptop are the pictures of him naked with Iranian women?
I don't know.
Where in the 26,000 emails that have been uncovered where Joe Biden was talking about business deals does Iran come up?
Oh, I'm sure they're in there somewhere.
Because the only reason the Biden administration caves to horrible people is because Hunter or Joe himself are being paid off. Where is that? Or is it just the Russians saying, Joe, we got your dick pics with this whore? Or Joe, we got this on you? Like, I think they're actually being bribed by Ukrainians and Russians and Ukrainians and Chinese. Like, they're totally stuck in the middle.
Well, yeah, but so they did eventually backpedal today. But it was within an hour of DeSantis calling for the money to be refrozen. They put out a statement that said, in a joint venture with the bank that holds the funds, they were going to refreeze the $6 billion.
Yeah, okay.
After 5 days of saying they couldn't and wouldn't. But again, 2 separate incidents today, within hours of DeSantis saying things, the Biden White House does exactly the same thing or exactly what he says they should have been doing all along. Seems interesting to me. Alright, so believe it or not, we're already to the end of the hour. Where can folks find you?
Oh, they can find me just like ripping it up on Twitter for the last couple days. Trumpists have blocked me. Mostly Shem Horn. What a glass jaw that motherfucker has. Your boss said this, dude.
Yeah.
And then I would like to understand what the hell is wrong with Tucker Carlson.
I stopped trying to figure it out.
So I will be asking that question openly more and more often. Like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I mean, I think he's been another one kind of playing roles, if I'm being honest. I mean, don't forget, dude got his start on the left side, so I'm saying.
No, he got his start on the, like, let's all have a conversation side. But, like, now Ben Shapiro is trending.
Oh, boy.
We have Tucker, fuck around and find out, and Ben Shapiro. And I'm sorry, Ben Shapiro has all my hearts right now.
All right, well, we've got to make way for the next group coming in. For those of you interested, you can follow along with me at RadioX73. You can find me pretty much every night of the week, one way or the other, involved here at KLRN Radio. You can also find me on Twitchy, The Loftus Party, and Misfits Politics. But we got to run because there's a show behind us. So we will talk to you guys next week. I have not heard from Jen today, so hopefully there will be a Jen and Rick later. I've reached out, have not gotten a response, but, you know, it's school, sports, all that stuff, so who knows. If not, I may do something later if I feel up to it. I don't know. Bye, everybody. We got to run.